Hello everyone, this is James Peterson here. Today we're going to talk about conflict management, specifically how different expectations can lead to miscommunication. Conflicts can be roughly divided into two types. First, a conflict caused by different expectations. This conflict can snowball into serious miscommunication. To prevent or resolve this kind of conflict, you need good interpersonal and intercultural communication skills. And that's what we're looking at today. In our next video, we'll take a look at a second type of conflict between people with opposing opinions or principles. For example, people truly disagreeing about the best way to solve a problem. To solve this second type of conflict, you need negotiation skills. So in our next video, we'll take a look at principled negotiation. Let's start. Conflicts caused by different expectations, and this leads to miscommunication. I think it's easiest to start with a scenario. Here we have Z. She's worked at ABC Company for 3 years, and recently she was promoted to a management position. She's overseeing several small projects and a team of 8 people. And here we have JD. He's worked at the company for 2 years. He's a team lead and reports to Z. Z says, JD, I need your report on Friday. Is that okay? JD replies, no problem. I'll have it for you then. It's now a little after 9 a.m. Z is sitting at her desk. She hasn't received the report yet. JD is nowhere to be seen. Z is feeling a bit worried and asks the team, where's JD? One of the team says, I don't know. I think he's working from home today. Z's a little surprised to hear this. She quickly sends an email. Hey, JD, I guess you're working from home today. Could you send me your report? Thanks, Z. It's now 2 hours later, 11:22 a.m., no report, no reply to her email, and JD hasn't come to the office. Z, feeling frustrated, decides to go grab a coffee. Perhaps that will calm her down. She walks into the cafe, and who does she see? It's JD. He's just sitting there with colleagues, relaxed, laughing, socializing. Then JD notices her and calls out happily, Hey Z, come over and join us. Z is shocked. How could he be so irresponsible? She walks over to him. What are you doing? You forgot to do the report. I need it today. You promised to have it done. JD's smile is quickly erased. He seems surprised and embarrassed. What are you talking about? We said Friday. Defiantly he adds, I have until the end of the day. Z is shocked. How could JD do this to me? She quickly snaps back. Not the end of the day. I need it now. JD, surprised at Z's tone, replies, Okay, whatever, if that's what you want. Z, completely irritated by this response, turns and walks away. She storms back to her desk. He didn't submit the report. He didn't apologize. I can't believe this. 15 minutes later, JD's chair is still empty. What on earth is going on? Is he still in the coffee shop? 30 minutes later, JD wanders in, tosses the report on her desk and says, Here's the report. Can we talk for 5 minutes? Z's shocked. Talk now? I'm behind schedule as is. She replies, No, not now. I have to check your report for mistakes. Also, I need a PDF copy of this. Send me a PDF by email. I need it right away. Thanks. I think it's quite clear that this incident ends with both of them very unhappy. Typically, we have 3 conversations in our minds as we reflect on this type of incident. The first conversation is about what happened. And Z remembers it like this. JD, I need your report on Friday. Is that okay? No problem. I'll have it for you then. He agreed to have it done, but he didn't hand it in. He didn't even show up to work. He was just sitting in a cafe. As she's thinking about all of this, she has a second internal conversation about feelings. How do I feel about what happened? Disappointed, angry, confused, betrayed. Then the third conversation starts about identity. What does this all mean? What does this say about me? Am I a good person or a bad person? Am I a good manager? What does it say about him? Is he a bad person? Is he untrustworthy, unreliable? JD is also reflecting on this incident. What happened? He remembers it like this. You forgot to do the report. You promised to have it done. I need it now. I have to check for mistakes. But he's thinking, I finished the report on Thursday, did a great job. I had a meeting Friday morning and was about to hand it in. Then the second conversation about feelings. That was embarrassing. Speaking to me like that in front of my colleagues, I'm angry. She should have said something if she wanted the report sooner. Then the third conversation, identity. Is she thinking I'm incompetent? Is she thinking I'm lazy? I'm a bad person? She's a terrible manager. Who gives feedback like that? So both of them are feeling terrible. And what about future events? We often have a confirmation bias where new evidence is used to confirm existing beliefs. JD is already thinking that Z is a terrible manager. But remember that email? He goes back to his desk and is surprised to see, "Hey, JD, I guess you're working from home today. Could you send me your report? Thanks, Z." She sent this at 9:15 a.m., accusing me of skipping work? Terrible manager. And while Z may be reflecting on these issues by herself, JD might be getting support. This is what happened. And what starts as gossip might turn into a hostile work environment as colleagues take sides and start treating Z differently. So now we have a big problem. Yet, when we look at the core of the issue, it really was quite minor. A simple problem of different expectations leading to miscommunication. The two participants let it get out of control, jumping to conclusions and reacting based on those conclusions. Unchecked, this type of problem can snowball out of control, affecting future interactions. It should never have gotten this far. The objective for collaborative teams in managing conflict is to prevent problems before they occur and resolve minor miscommunication issues in real time before they snowball out of control. Let's look at some ideas from the book Intercultural Communication by Scullin and Scullin. We'll take a look at the problem and then we can talk about the solution. The first problem is language is ambiguous by nature. She said, "I need your report on Friday." Report? What kind of report? What info does she want included? Does she need a printed copy or a PDF? Friday. This Friday? Next Friday? What time? The second problem is because language is ambiguous, we must draw inferences about meaning. And our inferences tend to be drawn very quickly, in just a few seconds. And our inferences tend to be fixed, not tentative. Once we make a conclusion, we believe it, and we believe it over time. JD concluded that the report should be submitted on Friday before 4 o'clock, and the report should be printed on paper. He jumped to this conclusion in seconds, and he held this conclusion throughout the week, never doubting it. Another way to view this is using this model. We have expectations, our expectations of what will happen. There's a situation, what really happened. Then there's interpretations, our interpretations of what happened and why. Then conclusions, our interpretations of what this means. And this is a cycle because we take actions based on our conclusions and we have expectations about how our partner will respond. Returning to the story, let's see where they went wrong. Expectation, our expectation of what will happen. Z expects, JD will send me his report as a PDF file at 9 o'clock a.m. on Friday. JD expects, I will print out the report and hand it to Z at 1 o'clock p.m. on Friday. Clearly, they have different expectations. Situation, what happened? So the problem here is each of them knows only one part of the story, and they only notice the facts that are relevant to them. For Z, I didn't receive an email with his report. I waited until 11:20 a.m. I saw him sitting in the coffee shop not working. For JD, Z came into the coffee shop at 11:25 a.m. and asked for the report. She gave me negative feedback in front of colleagues. I felt embarrassed. Then there's interpretations, or interpretation of what happened and why. And here we can see they have very different interpretations about the problem. For Z, he's working from home and the report is late. He forgot to do the report or he forgot to submit the report. He's not concerned about my deadline. He prefers to socialize rather than do his work. In Z's case, these interpretations change over time, and many of these interpretations turned out to be incorrect. For JD, she miscommunicated about when she needed the report. She's blaming me for her miscommunication. She's embarrassing me in front of colleagues on purpose. His reflections are largely about his feelings. Finally, his conclusions are interpretation of what this means. And we can see that they end up with negative conclusions about each other, and some of these negative conclusions are quite similar. He's unreliable and lazy. He doesn't respect me. He's jealous of my promotion. He's trying to sabotage me. Disrespectful. She's rude. She's not a good communicator. Terrible manager. Disrespectful. So what is the solution? Well, look at this model again. The most important thing is to be explicit about expectations and confirm expectations. This is especially important in intercultural communication when individuals may have very different expectations about how something should be done. Second, recognize that you only have partial information about the situation. Have an I don't know attitude. You don't know fully what happened. Third, be careful about your interpretations. Start with a positive view of people. Have a learning conversation and try to figure out where the miscommunication occurred. Finally, avoid jumping to negative conclusions about people. Be careful about the other person's identity. Don't embarrass. Allow your partner to save face. Overall, be tentative about your interpretations and conclusions. Don't be reactive. Always remember that your interpretations and conclusions could be mistaken. Let's end this video with a solution to this incident. Z says, JD, I need your report on Friday. Is that okay? JD says, no problem. I'll have it for you then. Z should make her expectations more explicit. Could you get the report to me by 9 a.m.? I need to send it to Toronto. It'll have to be a PDF. JD replies, I'm in a meeting from 9 o'clock till 11 o'clock on Friday. Can I give it to you around noon? Notice how this conversation is much more open. Z has made her expectations explicit, and JD is discussing his schedule. Now, we can't always expect everyone to be so clear. If expectations were not explicit, JD can confirm expectations. What time do you need it? I can hand a printout to you around noon. Noon is a bit late. Can you get it to me by 9 a.m.? Also, I don't need a printout, just a PDF. The key point in conflict management: prevent problems before they occur. And I think the problems have been prevented here, but it doesn't always happen like this. Often, the original conversation is not corrected. Z and JD leave the meeting with different expectations about what will happen. So it's now Friday, 11:30 a.m. Z was in her office all morning waiting for the report, and now she's decided to go for a cup of coffee. She walks in the cafe. She's surprised to see JD, not working, relaxing, drinking coffee. And she's surprised to hear him call her over. Seems unconcerned about the report. Hey Z, come over and join us. She walks over. Thanks, I'd love to join you, but I'm going to grab a coffee and head back. A quick question. Did you already submit the report? Notice, she's not jumping to conclusions. She's asking a question, trying to explore what happened. There's no accusation or judgment, just an honest question. He replies, not yet. I've been in a meeting. The report is all done. I was going to proofread it and give it to you. Is 1 o'clock okay? Notice that the conversation is quite open, explaining what has been done and confirming if 1 o'clock is okay. Z has a real deadline. 1 o'clock is not okay. So she replies, explaining her reasoning. Sorry to rush you, but could you get it to me by 12 o'clock? I was hoping to send it to Toronto before they close. I should have said that last week. That was my mistake. She's also acknowledging the miscommunication they had in the previous meeting. JD replies, no worries, I should have checked. I'll come up to the office in about 5 minutes and print it out. I don't need a printout actually, just a PDF. Oh, I can send that right now. There you go. I just sent it. Thank you, I appreciate that. Sorry to interrupt your break here. No worries, come and join us next time. In the end, this turned out to be a non-incident. Miscommunication happens all the time. The problem is not usually the miscommunication. Rather, it is jumping to the false conclusions and then reacting based on those conclusions. The first objective of conflict management is to prevent problems before they occur and resolve minor communication issues in real time before they snowball out of control. Make your expectations explicit. Recognize that you don't know the full situation. Recognize that interpretations are often wrong, and be tentative about your conclusions. Avoid negative judgments of people and don't be reactive.